Hello friends, welcome back to Clear Speak Academy. In today's English lesson, we will explore the story of Amara. You will learn useful vocabulary commonly used in daily life. It's also a fantastic opportunity to practice and improve your English speaking and listening skills. Amara stood at the front of the classroom, feeling nervous. She had just moved to this small town with her family. Her father had a new job, and they had to leave their old home far away. Amara didn't want to leave her friends or her old school. But now she had to start over in a new place. "Hello, Amara," the teacher said kindly. "Welcome to our class. Please take a seat." Amara smiled and sat down in the empty chair. She looked around. Some children were smiling at her, while others were staring. She felt a little uncomfortable. She knew they were looking at her because of her skin. Her skin was dark, and in this new town, she looked different from the other children. After school, Amara walked home with her mother. Her mother could see that something was bothering her. "How was your first day?" her mother asked gently. "It was okay," Amara replied, trying to hide her feelings. "But some of the kids were staring at me. They looked at my skin, and I didn't like it." Her mother stopped walking and looked down at Amara. "Sweetheart, I know it can be hard. But you are beautiful just the way you are. Your skin is not a mistake. It is part of who you are. You should be proud of it." Amara looked up at her mother. "But Mom, why are they staring at me? Don't they like me?" Her mother smiled. "People sometimes stare because they don't understand. But it doesn't matter what they think. What matters is how you feel about yourself. You are strong and smart, and you have so much to offer. Don't let anyone make you feel less than you are." Amara nodded, but she still felt sad. It was hard to feel different. That night, she sat by the window, looking out at the stars. She wanted to fit in, to feel like she belonged. She didn't know how to make the other children understand that she was just like them, even though her skin was a little darker. The next morning, Amara's mother helped her pick out a new dress. It was bright yellow, a color Amara loved. She put it on and looked at herself in the mirror. She smiled a little. Her mother was right. She was beautiful. She just had to remember that. At school, Amara decided to be brave. She walked into the classroom with her head held high. She smiled at the teacher and the other children. Some of them smiled back while others just stared. But Amara didn't let it bother her. She sat at her desk, ready to start the day. During lunch, a group of girls sat at a table nearby. Amara wanted to join them but felt too shy. She ate her lunch alone, thinking about what her mother had said. "You are strong," she whispered to herself. "You are beautiful." After lunch, the teacher asked the class to pair up for a project. Amara was nervous. She didn't know anyone well enough to be friends yet. But then, a girl named Emily came over to her desk. "Hi, Amara," Emily said with a smile. "Do you want to work together on the project?" Amara was surprised. Emily didn't seem to care about her skin. She just wanted to work with her because they were both in the same class. "Okay, I'd like that," Amara replied, feeling a little happier. As they worked together on the project, Amara began to feel more comfortable. Emily asked her questions about where she was from, and Amara told her about her old town and her family. Emily listened and didn't judge her. When the bell rang, Amara smiled. She had made her first friend. Emily had shown her that it didn't matter what she looked like on the outside. What mattered was who she was on the inside. That night, Amara felt proud. She had taken a small step toward feeling better about herself. She looked in the mirror again, this time with a smile on her face. "Tomorrow will be better," Amara thought. "I am proud of who I am." The days passed slowly, but Amara began to feel more comfortable in her new school. She continued to spend time with Emily, and they became good friends. Emily was kind and never made Amara feel different. They worked on more projects together, and Amara started to enjoy school a little more each day. However, not all of the children were as kind as Emily. Some still stared at Amara and whispered behind her back. Amara tried not to let it bother her, but it was hard. She felt different from the other children. They had light skin and she had dark skin. Sometimes it made her feel lonely. One afternoon, while Amara was sitting outside on the playground, two girls from her class came over to her. One of them, named Sarah, said, "Why is your skin so dark? Are you from another country?" Amara looked down at the ground. She didn't know how to answer. She felt embarrassed. Emily, who had been walking nearby, overheard the conversation. She quickly stepped in and said, "Sarah, that's not a nice thing to say. Amara's skin is beautiful, and it doesn't matter where she's from." Sarah and the other girl just stared at Emily, surprised by her response. Emily was always kind to everyone, but no one had ever stood up for Amara like that before. Amara felt a warm feeling in her heart. She smiled at Emily, grateful for her friendship. "Thanks, Emily," Amara said softly. "I don't like when people talk about my skin." Emily smiled back. "You don't need to worry about what they think. You are special just the way you are." From that day on, Emily and Amara spent more time together. They helped each other with schoolwork, played games during recess, and talked about their dreams. Amara felt happy when she was with Emily. She didn't feel so alone anymore. But there were still some moments when Amara felt different. One day, the teacher asked the class to write about their families and where they came from. Amara was excited to share her story. She wrote about her old town, her family, and the things they liked to do. She also wrote about how much she loved her dark skin because it was part of who she was. When it was time to share their writing with the class, Amara felt nervous. She had never talked about her skin before. But Emily was sitting next to her, and that made her feel brave. When Amara stood up to read her story, the class was quiet. Some children were still staring, but this time Amara didn't feel afraid. She spoke clearly and confidently, telling everyone about her family and her love for who she was. She even smiled when she talked about her dark skin, proud to share it with her classmates. When she finished, there was a moment of silence. Then, Emily raised her hand. "Amara's story was amazing," Emily said with a big smile. "We should all be proud of who we are, no matter where we come from or what we look like." The teacher nodded and smiled. "That's a very important lesson, Emily." Amara felt a warm feeling in her heart. She had shared her story, and no one laughed or made fun of her. In fact, Emily's words made everyone think. It was okay to be different. Being different was what made each of them special. As the weeks went by, Amara started to feel more and more at home. She no longer worried about the color of her skin. She had learned that it didn't matter. What mattered was the kind of person she was inside, and she was kind, strong, and proud of who she was. One afternoon, while playing on the swings, a boy named Max came over to her. He had never spoken to her before, but today he smiled and said, "Hey, Amara. I liked your story the other day. It was cool how you said you were proud of your skin." Amara smiled back. "Thanks, Mac." He nodded. "I think that's really important. My skin's not the same color as yours, but we're both human, right?" Amara felt her heart swell with happiness. Max was right. It didn't matter what color their skin was. They were both people, and that was enough. From then on, Amara knew she didn't have to try to fit in. She didn't have to change herself to be accepted. She just needed to be true to who she was, and the right friends would see that. As she walked home with Emily that afternoon, Amara felt proud of herself. She had found a real friend, and she was learning to love herself more each day. Amara woke up feeling excited. It was a special day. Today was the school talent show. She had been practicing for weeks, and now she was ready to show everyone what she could do. She had chosen to dance. Dancing was something she loved, and it made her feel free and happy. She looked at herself in the mirror, wearing her favorite blue dress. Her hair was tied in a neat ponytail, and her skin glowed under the light. She smiled at her reflection, remembering what her mother had said to her on the first day. "Your skin is beautiful. Be proud of who you are." Amara wasn't nervous anymore. She had learned to love herself for who she was. She didn't need anyone's approval to feel good about herself. She knew that no matter what anyone thought of her, she was enough. At school, the excitement was growing. Children were running around, talking about their acts. Some were singing, others were playing instruments, and some were doing magic tricks. Amara couldn't wait for her turn. Emily found her just before the show started. "You're going to be amazing, Amara," she said, giving her a big hug. "Thanks, Emily. I'm ready," Amara replied, her heart racing with excitement. Finally, it was her turn. Amara walked up to the stage with confidence. The lights were bright, and the audience was quiet. She could see her classmates, her teacher, and even some parents sitting in the audience, all waiting to see what she would do. The music started, and Amara began to dance. She moved to the rhythm, letting her body flow with the beat. As she danced, she remembered how much she loved this moment. She wasn't thinking about her skin or what people thought of her. She was just being herself. When the song ended, there was a moment of silence. Then the audience burst into applause. Amara smiled, feeling a warm glow inside her. She had done it. She had danced, and she had done it proudly. As she walked off the stage, Emily ran over to her. "You were amazing, Amara. You showed everyone how beautiful you are, inside and out." Amara felt tears in her eyes. She was so happy. She had found the courage to be herself, and now everyone knew her for who she truly was. Not just the color of her skin, but the kindness in her heart and the strength in her spirit. After the show, many of the students came up to Amara. Sarah, the girl who had once made her feel bad about her skin, came over and said, "Amara, I'm sorry for what I said before. I didn't understand. But now I see how amazing you are. You're beautiful, and your dancing was awesome." Amara smiled at Sarah. "Thank you. It's okay. I just want everyone to know that we're all beautiful in our own way." That day, Amara felt different. She felt proud. Proud of herself, proud of her skin, and proud of the person she was becoming. She had learned a big lesson. That skin color is just a part of who we are. Doesn't define us. What defines us is the kindness we show to others, the love we have for ourselves, and the courage to be true to who we are. As she walked home with Emily, Amara felt like she was walking on air. She wasn't worried about fitting in anymore. She had learned that being herself was enough. She didn't need to change for anyone. She was proud of her dark skin, and she was proud of who she had become. "Amara," Emily said, "I'm so glad we're friends. You've taught me a lot about being proud of who we are." Amara smiled and hugged Emily. "I'm glad we're friends too. And I think everyone should be proud of who they are no matter what." The sun was setting as they walked home, and Amara couldn't help but feel grateful for everything. She had found true friendship, and most importantly, she had found the strength to love herself. She knew that no matter what, she would always be proud of who she was. And with that, Amara walked into the future, ready to shine in her own beautiful way.